Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of our Turbo series, a series targeting the upcoming RBI and SEBI exams. Now today we are going to look at some more interesting areas related to costing. Okay, now what are the things that we are going to look at in costing today? Now before I give you the list of the things that we will be looking at in costing today, I hope that you have already gone through the previous lecture of costing, because there in the overview lecture of costing we have discussed many important concepts related to costing, and we would be referring to the concepts that have been discussed in this class in many questions of today. Okay, right. So if you have not gone through it, please go through it. Now coming back to this lecture, what are we going to cover in today's lecture? Let's run through that agenda very fast in 2 minutes. The first thing that we will do, and this is something that I had told you that I would help you do, is the numerical based out of the elements of cost. Now elements of cost, theoretically we had an understanding in the previous lecture. So in the previous lecture, if you have gone through the elements of cost, that is direct cost, indirect cost, the different kinds of cost like prime cost, and how to calculate the production cost, cost of production, okay, or total cost, cost of sales. So you already have the idea of that, okay, and the various overheads. We also looked at the various overheads. What does administration overhead mean? What does selling overhead mean? So you have that idea. But in the previous lecture, we did not discuss numerical based out of it, which we will do today. So we will be discussing two cases where there will be numericals and questions based on those numerical. Okay, right? So the concept behind it, we will have a very fast revision also on that, and we will solve the questions. And then we are going to today discuss the definition and meaning of some very important cost terms. Very important in the sense that they come in questions, they come in your basic understanding of cost depends upon your knowledge of these words, knowledge of these terms. So you should know these terms, and these terms are also those terms which are related to the special costs that a manager looks at while making his decision. Remember last class we did management accounting, and there we saw that there were so many costs that manager looks at to make a decision on whether to do something or not do something, right? So those special costs that managers look at, the management decision making part, which is we'll be going through those special costs today. Okay, so this is the agenda of today. How are we going to do it? Let me show you. We are going to take 13 questions. Okay, 13 questions on these areas, and we are going to solve those questions. So what I want you to do when I give a question or a set of questions, like for in numericals I have given 3 questions based on one case. So when I give a set of questions, pause the lecture, go through that question, try and solve it yourself, and then resume the lecture and look at the solution or the explanation that I come up with. Okay, in the concept questions, I will summarize the concepts that we are discussing, and then you would have an idea about, after the first question, that what are the concepts, and based on that try and answer the questions. If you can't, then I would anyways explain. Okay, okay. So 13 questions, 13 marks, because if there are questions, they should have marks, and those marks would give you an idea how much you have understood in this lecture. And time 30 seconds per question. Okay, so in numerical, if there are 3 questions, take 1.5 minutes. Okay, clear on the process, how we are going to approach. Now let's hit the road with the first set of questions. So this is your first question. Try it out. Once you have tried it out, then I'll explain it to you. Done? Okay, let me see. Let me go through the question and see what we need to do. Prime cost is rupees 70,000. Factory cost is rupees 1 lakh. So they have given data for prime cost, factory cost, and also cost of production, which is 1,50,000, and total cost is 2,20,000. So all cost has been given. Now, do we have an understanding of the relationship between these costs? We should have, because we have already studied it in the previous lecture. I'll revise it for you. But first look at the questions. Calculate factory overheads, calculate administration overheads, and calculate the ratio of selling overhead, admin overhead and factory overhead. Okay, so if you have these three questions, so what we are seeing, we'll have to find out the overheads. So therefore, all of these costs are related in some way or the other with the overheads. You should remember them. If you don't remember them, let's revise it once and then you'll recall it, and then we'll do this question. So the first is prime cost. What did we learn? What is prime cost? Prime cost is the cumulative of all direct cost. So direct material, direct labor, okay, then and direct expenses. That's what prime cost is, no? But here the prime cost in totality has been given. The next is factory cost. The next is factory cost. Factory cost is nothing but prime cost. What did we learn? Prime cost plus what? Which overhead? Yes, factory overhead. Factory overhead when added to prime cost gives you factory cost, also known as works cost. Also known as works cost. So you have the data for factory cost, which is 1 lakh. Right? You have the data for prime cost, which is 70,000. So what would be my factory overhead? 30,000. What would be my factory overhead? 30,000, because together they make factory cost 1 lakh. So which would be the answer in the question number 1? In the case of question number 1, the answer would be option number B, 30,000. Okay, right? Now, coming back to the question again. Now, admin overhead. What is the relationship between admin overhead and cost of production? If you remember, cost of production is equal to factory cost plus administration overhead, right? This is what the relationship between cost of production and factory cost is. That when administration overhead gets added to factory cost, then the cost that you get is production cost, right? Now, in this case, do we have factory cost? Yes, that's 1 lakh. Do we have cost of production? Yes, and that is 1,50,000. So what would be the administration overhead? Administration overhead would be 50,000, right? Okay, so you have got your admin overhead. So calculate our admin overheads. Admin overhead is 50,000. Simple, very simple. Then the last question is selling overhead is to admin overhead is to factory overhead. Now I have admin and factory overhead. Now let us find out selling overhead. Here, if you see, can we answer this question without going ahead with finding out selling overhead? Technically, yes. How? Because admin overhead is to factory overhead is 5:3. Now 5:3 is the simplest fraction that is possible, minimum value fraction that is possible for all kind of fractions having this value, right? And that is only in one option, which is here 5:3. Now 5:3 cannot come down further, na? So therefore, the most possible answer of this question would be this one. Okay, but you should also know how to find out how to find this out in a normal way also. So what is the relationship between total cost, which is cost of sales or cost of sales, and cost of production. So cost of production plus selling and distribution overhead. Cost of production plus selling and distribution overhead gives you total cost or cost of sales. Now you have total cost. Cost of sales has been given as 2,20,000 and cost of production has been given as 1,50,000. So what is the selling and distribution overhead? Definitely 70,000, right? Okay. So now the ratio of selling is to administrative overheads is to factory overhead is nothing but 7:5:3, right? Which is this answer again. So you could have answered this without finding out selling overhead also, but now that you know how to find out selling overhead, you can answer this very easily. So the question number 3 answer is C. Clear? The whole workout is clear, the concept is clear, how do we approach these kind of questions, that is clear. Okay? Now we will move on to the next question. So the answers to 1, 2, 3 B, A, C. Now the next questions, set of 3 questions and again based out of a case, numericals. Try and do these questions. Done? Okay, great. Now you have 3 questions here. First let us go through the case. Prime cost is rupees 50,000. Assume that there is no direct expense and the ratio of cost between direct material and direct labor is 3:2. Okay. So if there is no direct expense, then the only 2 component of prime cost is what? Now prime cost becomes what, my dear friend? Direct material plus direct labor. This is what our prime cost is. Hai na? Okay. Now factory overheads is double the difference between the direct material cost and direct labor cost. Now see here, if this is 3:2, now that means that if I divide 50,000 into 3:2, because prime cost is 50,000 into 3:2, then where direct material is 3, then this is 30,000 and direct labor is 20,000, right? Now factory overhead is double the difference between direct material cost and direct labor cost. So this difference is 10,000, right? So double of 10,000, therefore I have my factory overhead as how much? Double of 10,000, which is 20,000. So I have 20,000 here. So factory overhead you have 20,000. Now what are the questions? What is the direct material? So while we are reading the case, then only I would get all these data just from the reading of the case. You would not need to do much for that. Now direct material cost, I have already got my direct material cost, that is 30,000. So is it there in the option? 20, 40, 30. Yeah, this is the option 30,000. Okay. Now what is the factory overhead cost? Do I have factory overhead cost? Yes, it is 20,000. So do I have it? Yes, it's option number A. All the other options are eliminated. Okay, right? So question number 5, option number A. Now there is a question that asks, what is the conversion cost? Now what is conversion cost? Now understand this very this is an important concept, so understand this very clearly. Conversion cost is nothing but direct labor plus factory overhead. Direct labor plus factory overhead. So the amount spent in direct labor plus the amount spent in factory overhead, that is the conversion cost. See, what do we mean by conversion? When we convert our raw material to a finished product, that is what we mean by conversion. Yes or no? That is what we mean by conversion. Now, this process of conversion here the raw material is direct material, so we do not consider that. Now the process of conversion has two components, labor and the cost that the factory overheads takes. This is the conversion cost, no? Right? So I can either add it and get it, or what can I get? How can I get it? Another way would be, see, when I will have the finished product, the cost would be factory cost. The finished product's cost would be factory cost. So this finished product cost is factory cost, and out of it, what would be the conversion cost? If I deduct the direct material cost, then whatever would be left is conversion cost. Because factory cost is what? Factory cost is when on direct material you would have the conversion cost added, then only you would get the factory cost or the finished product cost. So therefore you can also do it this way, factory cost minus direct material. Okay, both ways you can find out your conversion cost. So direct labor plus factory overhead, is the same, would be factory cost minus direct material. Okay, right? Now in this case, do I have direct labor? Yes, I do have direct labor. And along with direct labor, what has to be added? Factory cost. Factory overhead. Along with direct labor, what has to be added? The factory overhead. So if I look at this, if I look at the whole thing, how much would be our conversion cost? Direct labor plus factory overhead, 20 plus 20, 40,000. 20 plus 20, 40,000. This is our factory overhead. Clear? Okay, this is our conversion cost, rather. This is our conversion cost. Okay. Now, you might have asked that let us check with this formula. Yes, you can. What is factory cost according to our prime cost formula? Prime cost plus factory overhead. That is our factory cost. So prime cost is 40k and factory overhead is 20. Okay. Prime cost is 50k. Prime cost is 50k and factory overhead is 20. So therefore factory cost would be how much? 70,000. And direct material we know is 30,000. So when we deduct 30,000 from 70,000, what do we get? 40,000 again, right? So the same answer you would get if you do it this way or this way. You're not going to get different answer. Why? Because these are related. I showed you, na, this is the way we arrive at conversion. That's why. So logically, if they are related, they can never come different. If they come different, that means we are doing some mistake in the calculation. It should tally with both the formula. Okay? Okay? Chalo. So you now know the concept behind the formula, because that is very important, my friends. Knowing the formula is important, but more important is why this formula is this. Because if you know that, your ability to answer the question from a strong foundation goes up notches high. Right? Now you can do these kinds of numerical with ease. You might also try it out with some of the questions online which are available and see if you are able to do it or not. Okay, where you are going wrong if you are going wrong. If you are getting it right, what are the things that you are considering and that is why you are getting it right. So understand it with your own practice, because see, at the end of the day, in numerical, when you practice, then is when you are using your learning again, and that is where the real test begins, because understanding the concept is one stage. Okay, we would not go with the mugging up of formula, because mugging up of formula would not help if you don't understand the concept behind the formula. So we'll understand the concept, then understand the formula, and then remember them on the basis of our understanding and then apply it. Okay, so this is the whole process in which you are supposed to do these questions. Okay, take chalo. So the numericals are done. You have your answers. Question number 4. 30,000, which is direct material cost, factory overhead cost 20,000, and conversion cost 40,000. Now we will move ahead with the next question, and this is question number 7. Try it out. Done? Okay, so Mr. A invested in plant and machinery. Due to this, he lost the chance of earning interest on the money he invested. What kind of cost is this? Okay. So I'll give you the answer first, and then I will explain all the types of cost that you should know. Important terms in cost that you should know. So the answer to this is opportunity cost. Okay. Now why is it opportunity cost? We will come back and understand it after we have understood the definition and the concept of opportunity cost. But before that, let me give you the list. Now what are these costs? These are all those special costs which aids management in decision making. So these are those special costs which helps management take important decisions for their organization. Okay. Now the first cost is opportunity cost, and that's what we will understand first. Definition wise, what is opportunity cost? It would be values of alternatives which are foregone to adopt a particular alternative. Okay. Let me explain this to you. You have two alternatives in front of you. Let's say you have a factory. Okay. And you have two alternatives in front of you. You can produce shirts or you can produce pants. Okay. Right. Acha. Or you can so this is one alternative. Second is you have a factory. You can increase the capacity of the factory to have more products, or the profits that you get from the factory can be utilized here, or the profits that you get from the factory can be utilized in investing the money in another project. Okay, investing the money in another project. Okay. So first let's look at this alternatives. If I make shirts, I will not be able to make pants. For opportunity cost, that is very important. Both the alternatives should be mutually exclusive. What does it mean? Mutually exclusive? It means that if you do one, you cannot do another. Okay. So the opportunity cost of making shirt is the cost that you accrue for not making pants. So the revenue that you forego. So if you had made pants, you would have made a revenue. So the revenue that you forego for making shirt is the revenue that you would have earned for making by making pants. So that revenue is your opportunity cost. Clear? Right? So in the case of two alternatives, this happens. Now in capacity expansion cases, you have a profit that has to be either plowed in or it has to be invested in a different project. So if I plow in, then the opportunity cost of capacity expansion is the interest that you forego from investing this money. If you had invested this money, you would have got interest. Okay, right? But because you have invested in capacity building, therefore you are foregoing this interest on the capital, and hence this becomes your opportunity cost. And vice versa also. If you decide to invest in in an investment, in an alternative investment, then the money that you could have earned due to the capacity expansion would have become your opportunity cost. Okay? right? So this is opportunity cost. So it is a cost that measures the benefit that is lost or sacrificed when you choose one course of action over another course of action. Okay, right? Now, relevant cost. Now this is also a very important idea. Understand it. I'll try to explain it to you, but understand it clearly step by step. First, what is a relevant cost? I'll also talk about irrelevant cost. Now, what is relevant cost? Because relevant cost is one whose magnitude will be affected by a decision that is being made by management. Matlab, if management takes a decision then regarding a particular item, issue, whatever, then the costs that which would be affected, the costs that are affected are relevant cost. And those who are not affected are irrelevant cost. Okay? Now, whether a cost is relevant or not also depends upon circumstances. So, in one case, let's say one cost is relevant, and in another case, the same cost may be irrelevant. Okay? Let me give an example. Let's say if I want to decide whether to produce a product A or product B, just like the opportunity cost wala case. In that case, you see the admin overheads, okay, would remain the same for both. Admin overheads, whether I make shirt or I make pant, the administration overhead would remain the same of the factory, of the organization. So that admin overhead is not affected whether I take take the decision of producing shirts or I produce the pants. So admin overhead is irrelevant in this case. Now, the second case where capacity building was there. If I build capacity, then my admin overhead can change because I am increasing my capacity. My admin overhead can also change, might increase. So, in that particular decision, whether to plow back the capital into capacity expansion or to investment, other capital investment, in that my admin overhead can change, and therefore it is a relevant item, relevant cost. Understood? So see, the same item, admin overhead, relevant in one case, irrelevant in one other case. Okay? Clear? Sure. Next one. Sunk cost. Very important term. Questions can come from this area too. Sunk cost. What is sunk cost? Sunk means jo doob gaya. Right. So essentially any cost that has already happened and cannot be reviewed. So expenditure that are made in the past and it cannot be changed and over which management has no control. ठीक है, management को कोई control ही नहीं है उसके ऊपर. So what is that cost? That is sunk cost. For example, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say I have an organization, I have a plant, and for that plant or manufacturing organization, I had purchased a land. 15-20 years back. Okay, 15-20 years back. Now, my plant is not earning. The plant was of something which is not used now. Now I want to sell this land. So the price at which I bought the land 15 to 20 years back, that is a sunk cost. वो cost तो गया. Right, that has nothing to do with today's decision. Today, whether I would be selling this land or not has no relevance whatsoever with this cost. Now, you can see that there is a relationship between sunk cost and irrelevant cost. Okay? Sunk cost and irrelevant cost. Now, and what is that? Remember, all sunk cost, if this is sunk cost, all sunk costs are irrelevant cost. All sunk costs are irrelevant cost, but not all irrelevant cost is sunk cost. So therefore, remember this diagram. So all sunk cost come inside irrelevant cost, but every irrelevant cost cannot be said to be a sunk cost. Okay. And also remember, if a sunk cost, let's say technology changes and changes in market, renders sunk cost to be eliminated at some point. If it can be eliminated, then it becomes relevant because the situation changed, na? Right? We will do a question on this and you will understand how due to change of situation sunk cost can become relevant. Okay? Not sunk cost, because at that point of time it would not be a sunk cost because the condition changing. So irrelevant cost is getting in the changed condition, it is becoming relevant. Okay? Next, differential cost. Now differential cost, it's also known as the incremental cost. Now incremental cost has two meaning to it. One is the marginal costing wala incremental cost, that cost of one unit item. And in differential cost also the meaning is the same. As a matter of fact, they are related. So what is differential cost? It is a cost which results from a change that is to be decided. Meaning, if I have to say it in other words, it's an increase or decrease in total cost that results from an alternative course of action. Which means that I have alternative 1, I have alternative 2. There is a cost associated to this, there is a cost associated to this. If alternative 1 cost is more than alternative 2, then the cost of alternative 1 minus cost of alternative 2 is the differential cost. Okay, right? This is the differential cost. Simple. We'll do a question on this and we'll understand how you can use it, how you can apply it, but this is what differential cost is. So, in the opportunity cost wala case, we took an example of shirt and pant. So, cost of making a shirt minus cost of and cost of making a pant. Let's say cost of making a shirt is more and cost of making a pant is less. So the differential cost is cost of making a shirt minus cost of making a pant. Okay? Next. Marginal costing. Now marginal costing is something that we'll have to do in detail in a different lecture, but to give you an idea what it means the additional cost of producing one extra unit. Okay? So the additional cost of producing one extra unit is marginal cost. And when we say variable cost, we talk about variable cost in one of the later lectures, but when we aggregate all variable costs, what do we get? Marginal cost and variable cost are related, right? Okay. So when to produce, there is a fixed cost, there is a variable cost. Now in the marginal costing terminology or there is a method called marginal costing method, very, very popular. There it is believed that the fixed cost that you have already incurred should not be a parameter in deciding whether we should make more. Because our making more should be dependent upon the fact what cost another extra unit is going to take. And obviously based on that how much benefit you would get, and then you do a cost benefit analysis. That's obviously there. Okay, right. So this is marginal cost. Next cost, imputed cost. Again another technical term. Basically it's a hypothetical or notional cost, and especially this cost is not a part of the accounting system because it's a notional cost. This is not a part of the accounting system. This is used for decision making though, right? So while investing in something, what we need to look at the imputed cost and choose the one which has the least imputed cost. Okay. So for example, rent value of a building owned by a firm. Now that is an imputed cost. If I am owning a building and I am working there only, my office is there only, then I am foregoing the rent on that building. So that foregoing of rent in that building where you are working, right, is in your own building, is called imputed cost. Now you can understand that it is very, very similar to opportunity cost. As a matter of fact, many cost accountants today make imputed cost, opportunity cost, or treat imputed cost, opportunity cost and implicit cost in the same vein. Because all of them are hypothetical notional cost, where the cost is not actually incurred, but the cost of alternative is being considered. Okay. So, and imputed and opportunity cost is seldom seen differently. Okay. Now, replacement cost. But you should know the meaning of these costs, because these cost terms have been defined, questions can come from them. Replacement cost. Now, this is very easy. Replacement cost is, you have an old machine or an old plant or anything. You want to replace it with a new machine. So, this particular thing, the new machine, whatever the cost of this new machine is the replacement cost. Because whatever is the cost of the old machine does not matter for you. The current cost of replacing an asset, the current market cost for replacing an asset is your replacement cost. Okay. Next, out of pocket cost, also known as explicit cost. What does it mean? Explicit cost or out of pocket cost is a cost that requires money to be spent. Matlab actual cash should go out. Okay, right. Whereas implicit cost, that does not require money to be spent. Now, there is a difference between implicit and imputed, because imputed is outside the financial accounting terminology. Okay, it's only a notional cost. Whereas implicit cost can actually be considered in your accounting too. For example, depreciation. Depreciation on plant and machinery is a notional cost. You don't actually spend money in it, but it's a cost that is also included in financial costing. Okay, so that is implicit cost. Got it? So in many cases, imputed, implicit, opportunity would be same. Okay, and in some cases where in implicit is that the cost does not go out, but it's a cost which is basically notional, but it can be a part of the accounting system too. There it would be better to treat it as implicit cost. Okay. Future cost, simple cost that can be managed in future or will occur in future. Nothing but that. Conversion cost, we just did it in the last set of questions. Conversion cost is direct labor plus factory overhead. That is what conversion cost is. Or factory cost minus direct material. Okay, right? This is conversion cost. Okay, understood? Now, if I look back to this question now, so these were all the special costs that management takes into consideration while making a decision of alternative. Okay. Now, this question, when we come back to this question, Mr. A invested in plant and machinery. Due to this, he invested in one alternative, right? Due to this, he lost the chance of earning interest on the money he invested. So, if he had not invested in here, he could have invested it into interest earning job or interest earning activities. So, he lost that chance. So, that is something he forgoed because of investing in here. So, what kind of cost is this? Opportunity cost. That's what we studied just now. Okay? Clear? Okay. Question number 8. Which of the following is true? Try it out. Done? Now let's see. Depreciation is an out of pocket cost. Is it? Out of pocket cost is explicit cost. Now depreciation is an implicit cost. So can it be out of pocket cost? No. So one is eliminated. So this is eliminated and this is eliminated. We are left with these two. Now both 2 and 3 has to be correct. For all practical purpose, both 2 and 3 has to be correct because both the option has 2 and 3. We'll only need to check 4. If 4 is correct, then this would be the answer. If not, then B would be the answer. So let's check 4 first. Cost of a new machine replacing an old one is not a replacement cost. It is definitely a replacement cost. Because a new machine replacing an old one is a replacement cost. That's the definition of replacement cost. So fourth one is eliminated. So if fourth one is eliminated, then you are only left with, so C is also eliminated, then you are only left with B and this would be the answer. So B is the answer in this case. Okay. So to answer this question, you do not need to even read 2 and 3. But we would read it so that we know and we are sure of it. But you don't need to do it in the exam. Some irrelevant costs are sunk costs. Now, what did we know? That all sunk costs are irrelevant cost, but not all irrelevant costs are sunk cost. But these sunk costs, which are irrelevant costs, these irrelevant costs, we can say for sure that these irrelevant costs, that is some irrelevant costs, are sunk cost. Some irrelevant cost would definitely be sunk cost. Whether all irrelevant cost would be yes or no, that we do not know. That is, we know that is not. But some would definitely be sunk cost. Right. So this is true. 2 is true. Then, depreciation is an implicit cost. Yes. That's what we discussed here. So this is also true. So both 2 and 3 are true and therefore your answer would be option number B. Clear? Question number 9. This is a very simple one. We have already done this. So do it. Done? Yes, the answer is direct labor and manufacturing overheads. Okay, so that's what your answer is. The conversion cost we know is either direct labor plus factory overhead. Factory overhead is nothing but manufacturing overhead. Another name of factory overhead is manufacturing overhead, or it is factory cost minus direct material. So factory cost minus direct material is not there, but direct labor and manufacturing overhead is there. So direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. Okay? Sure. Question number 10. Do it. Done. Which one of these is a cost that involves cash outflow? Notional means in notion only. There is no real cash outflow. In implicit cost, also there is no cash outflow. In opportunity cost is also a type of notional cost. So this is eliminated, this is eliminated, this is eliminated. So none of these requires a cash outflow. So question number 10, your answer should be option D. Okay? Next. Question number 11. Done? Now, this question I specifically put down because see, in lockdown there had been many plants that had closed, and there can be a question related to this coming to you, and if it does, then you should be ready to answer it. So when due to lockdown or strike plants are closed, and that's a fixed cost, that cost how do we qualify? We qualify it as shutdown cost. There is a term called shutdown cost, which means this only. Okay, so I wanted to give you the idea of shutdown cost, and that's why I gave you this question. Yes, this cost we did not discuss in the concept because there is nothing as such to discuss. It is called shutdown cost, the cost which we incur, the fixed cost that we incur during the period of lockdown or shutdown or any kind of situation where the plants are closed. So now question number 12 in front of you. It's a case study. Do it and then I'll explain this to you. Done? Okay, now Let's look at it. ABC Corp is considering shutting down a production plant. Okay. To make a decision, it considers the revenue if the production is not stopped and the cost that would not be incurred if the plant is stopped. So if the production is stopped or plant, no, production should be the case in here. Anyways, the production is stopped, then what would be the cost that and the cost that would not be incurred, what would be the cost that would not be incurred, and if the production is not stopped, the revenue that it get. If the total estimated cost are more than the estimated revenue, then the plant would be closed. 6 months are left till the end of financial year. Which among these option is not true according to the consideration of cost and revenue that ABC Corp needs to make? So during the consideration process, which one of these is not true? So which one of these is something that would not be relevant or irrelevant to them? Okay, so let's see. Let's look at the option, because this has to be done through the option. Very interesting case, na? Factory lease of next 6 months is sunk cost. Hence is irrelevant in the decision making process. Okay. Now I am closing the factory. Now if I close the factory lease of the next 6 months is, it is not something that's a sunk cost, because that can be saved. So if it can be saved, then it is no way now irrelevant. It becomes relevant. See, if the factory, if the production is going on, then the factory lease is a sunk cost. Understood. But if the production is not going on, I am going to close my shop and go, then that's not a sunk cost. I am saving that money, right? So then it becomes relevant. So A is not something that I will consider. This is not a right premise for the management in this case. So this is eliminated. Now, factory lease for next 6 months is an expense in this case, and hence is relevant in the decision. Yes. We just discussed this. This is something that should be there. Sale of finished goods is going to happen in both cases. Sale of finished goods, already finished goods, basically the goods that has been already finished, is going to happen in both cases. So the revenue from it needs to be considered as relevant. Now understand this. Sale of finished good, I am closing my factory, but the sale would anyways happen of the goods that I have already finished. So would this be relevant to the decision making of the closing of the factory? No, because the sale would be adjusted against the operations of which had already happened, because these are finished goods. They would be adjusted with the operations that had already happened. The operation that is going to come would be giving the revenues in form of upcoming finished goods. So we'll have to estimate only those revenues. So the revenue from this, sale of finished goods is going to happen in both cases. So would they be relevant? No, they would not be relevant. They would not be relevant. Why? You would have the same revenue in both the cases. So there would be no additional revenue in this case. So the answer in this case would be B. Understood? Okay, right? So here revenue is irrelevant. This revenue, already finished goods revenue, is irrelevant, and here this factory lease is relevant, which is the option B, and hence it should be option B. Clear? Next, question number 30. Which one of these is true regarding differential cost? Do it. Done? Okay. Now, which one of these is true regarding differential cost? Now, to determine the most profitable level of production and price. Now, differential cost. What did we know about differential cost? Differential cost is the difference in total cost resulting from a to be decided change. So if there are two alternatives, I go for this and I go for this. the one which is more cost and the one which has less cost, the difference between them is differential cost. Now the point here is very important. To determine the most profitable level of production and price, would differential cost help in that? Yes, it would help. If I have to determine the most profitable level of production and price of different alternatives, that's something that differential cost is going to help. To decide when to accept an offer at a lower price or not. Because if I accept it, what would be the cost? If I do not accept it, what would be the cost? I would see it and then decide. Yes, that is going to help. To decide whether to offer a lower selling price in order to increase capacity. So a lot of times what happens is that when we increase capacity, it comes with lower selling price, but it also comes with economic order quantity. Economies of scale. So you have the lesser cost price too. And then the differential cost would be whether to go for more production or less production. So that decision, it would be helped. That would be helped through differential cost process. So all of these three would be helped. Hence, all of these would be the answer in this case. Okay. So that was question number 13, the last question of today. Though you have already done, so you have now to see your scores. Okay. So if your scores are 12 to 13, it's a very good score. Keep it up. Do the good job that you are doing. You understand costing from a fundamental conceptual basis, and therefore you are able to do the questions well, because there were application questions here. So if you do not understand them from the fundamental basis, you would not be able to do them. 10 to 11 is also a good score. No, nothing bad in it. If you are less than 10, 8, 9, it's an average score. There is scope of improvement, because see, the first 6 questions were based on the concepts that we have already done, and the first 3 questions at least, and the next 3 questions could have been done using a little bit of logic. The other 7 questions that we did, I had already explained them to you in the first question only, and on the basis of that you could have answered them, at least 5 of them correct. So 10 to 11 is something that is possible in this. And less than 8, you need improvement. You need to brush up your concepts, your basics of costing, because that's going to help you a lot in the upcoming exams. Okay, right? So this was today's lecture. Hope you enjoyed and learned from it, learned important things from it. These are very important topics when it comes to the costing as a subject, right? And when you understand these, your ability to understand the concepts, the advanced concepts of costing becomes much more enhanced. Okay, so that will be all for today. We will end it here. Thank you very much. Bye bye and all the best.